Chapter 4 Moby Dick. The mood aboard the ship was now one of fear, as we lay in wait for the whale. Day and night Ahab stared out to sea. After a few days, he gave orders to be hoisted up the mast to a perch where he alone could see all around the ship. He was determined to be the first to sight Moby Dick. And one night, from high in the air, sight him he did. "There she blows! It is Moby Dick!" Ahab ripped the gold doubloon from the mast, triumphantly cackling. "Ha ha! It is mine! I saw him first!" Only then did he give his orders. Soon our hunting boats were in the water, and I had my first glimpse of Moby Dick. He swam through the water smoothly, his white hump gleaming in the moonlight. He was huge. His body went on and on, further still his tail. Every now and then I could see a harpoon or broken wooden pole sticking from his wrinkled hide. Then he slid beneath the surface and was gone. "We wait," said Ahab. Just then the waves began to swell. Ahab stared over the side into the ocean depths. Suddenly, the great white teeth and open jaws of Moby Dick leered up from below him. Moby Dick clamped his jaws to Ahab's rowboat, and the captain almost slid inside his mouth as he bit the boat in two. Ahab was thrown into the whirling waters, and as he struggled to the surface, we heard him yell, "Sail on the whale!" Starbuck turned our nearby ship about. The Pequod headed rapidly towards the whale, but just as the prow was about to strike Moby Dick, he swam away. Once we were all back aboard, the captain set our course to follow the whale and resumed his place on the deck, watching and waiting. The second day of hunting dawned. Ahead of us, Moby Dick burst into view, spray rising a mile high as he threw his huge bulk into the air. "To the boats!" cried Ahab. Moby Dick raced and dived, harpoons crisscrossing him and ropes entangling him. Suddenly he rushed through the lines and dragged two rowboats under water. Ahab's boat soared into the air and then crashed back into the water, snapping his whalebone leg in two. With that, Moby Dick turned and swam away, dragging Fedallah, who was trapped in the tangled harpoon ropes, with him. Under a burning midday sun, Ahab led his men in pursuit of the whale for the third time. Moby Dick was soon back. First, he swam right by us, drenching us with water. Then he thrashed and darted at us, snapping our oars and splintering our boats. The great whale swam at our rowboat, and I was thrown out, far away from the action. Then he paused, and, with a low rumble, made one last deadly approach. Almost blinded by madness, Ahab stood alone on his rowboat. Starbuck yelled from the Pequod, "Captain, it is not too late! Give up the chase!" But it was too late, for Ahab's harpoon had struck his prey. And as the line unspooled, Moby Dick twisted and the harpoon's rope caught around Ahab's neck and dragged him into the water. The waves swelled as Moby Dick swept below the surface, taking his pursuer with him. Captain Ahab was no more. I bobbed on the water some distance from the remaining crew, scarcely able to believe my eyes. Moby Dick was ramming the Pequod. The scene was almost identical to that of the painting from the Whaling Inn in Massachusetts. Over and over the whale struck until the ship cracked into pieces. The sinking ship created a vast whirlpool, that sucked everything near it under the water. Then there was silence, and the whale swam away. Everything and everyone was gone. So what became of me? My dear friend Queequeg's unused coffin became my life buoy. I clung to it for a day and a night, until at last the Rachel came by and rescued me. Only I survived the madness of Captain Ahab and the terror of the great white whale. Moby Dick is still out there somewhere, that deadly creature who left me alive to tell my tale to you.